everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my worst Etsy customer experience. I've been a small business owner now for about 5 years now, and generally I don't really come in contact with bad customers. Every now and then you'll get someone who doesn't really know how the small business owner, I guess, how would you say, experience works. So they kind of expect you to be like Apple or Amazon or another big corporation like Walmart or something like that. And they're a little confused, and usually a lot of them are, very understanding, and they understand that, like, there's a lot of things that I don't have access to, such as like customer support or, a lot of time or a lot of workers and stuff like that, because I'm, just one person by myself. So a lot of people are generally very accepting of that and understanding, but every now and then you'll get someone who doesn't really understand the process, and they just, I don't know, I guess they have expectations that I can't really meet. So I'm going to talk about the worst customer I've ever dealt with. It's I'm not trying to send hate to any of these people or anything like that. This actually happened back in 2021, back in February, and it didn't really bother me at the time because I was kind of going through some personal stuff that I'll get into. But I just found it very entertaining, and I think you guys might find it entertaining too. I've censored all the names and stuff like that, so none of this information is identifiable, but I hope you guys enjoy this. So I'm also new to content creation, VTubing, all that stuff in general. This is my first kind of like video about all this, using all this stuff. I'm literally using the Mac equivalent of PowerPoint to go through all of this stuff. So I'm sorry if this seems a little bit scuffed. So here's my first slide. Okay, so what happened, like I'm gonna try and get a timeline, that way like everything is, comprehensible. So back in around February of 2021, I actually had to have a nose surgery, and it was making me very anxious. Like, it's a nose surgery. I mean, like, who wants to do that? I ended up having two of them, and I will get into that later in another video. It was absolutely crazy, but I was really anxious, and it was just something that, it was bothering me at the time. I also, around, I think, February 5th, I had a release of, I think, my first Genshin Impact charms, which I make a lot of, like, little keychains and stuff like that, of Kaching and Mona, and they actually did a lot better than I expected. And generally, because I'm a small business owner, whenever I have like a release, I have a lot of people messaging me, saying stuff like, I need to change an address, I need to update my order, I need to cancel my order, stuff like that. So it can be a little bit hectic. And again, it's like, I'm the artist, I'm the social media manager, and I'm also, the customer support, and I, do all this stuff, which is fine. And I can hope that people will be patient, but sometimes that's not always the case. So here you also see a comment. Someone says, do you know when the restock? When you'll restock on the Kaching ones, they sold out before I can get one. So it was, like I said, it was a little bit hectic. I did pretty well in that release. Essentially, I was just, kind of busy this weekend. So I get this email, and this was also February 6th, which was, give me a second real quick. So February 6th was actually a Sunday, and this person messaged me saying, will you ever be restocking the Yuri wedding dress keychain? Thank you. A very nice email, I get a lot of restock emails. If you don't know my store, I have about 200 different designs. So it is very hard to manage all these designs and keep them in stock. So yeah, I'll get a lot of emails asking, will this come in stock? Generally, I try to email the person back whenever the item is closer to being in stock. That way, it helps me keep track of everything. And it's like, I don't want to give these people an estimate date and then that item not arrive in time. And then, that's my preference. I could probably, maybe set up some sort of automation in the future or something where it can immediately identify with actually, I think my store at the time may have had email notifications. I'm not sure. But either way, I try to take weekends off because I get burnt out very easily. So on the weekends, I won't respond as quickly. So after I didn't respond to the first initial email, I got another email the next day, which was just space, it's just like a blank email, like kind of like a, hey, I asked a question, can you respond? This is a little annoying because I don't have a whole lot of time, and it's like, it's already hard to like deal with all the stuff I have now. And again, it's like, maybe that's no excuse at the end of the day. And maybe I need to, reevaluate how I handle my business, I guess you could say. But it was just like a little perplexing. And like I said, I was going through a stressful time. I was getting ready for my nose surgery. So I didn't have a chance to respond. And then through Etsy, I get a message saying, "Hi, I was on your website and tried to email you, but I'm not sure if it was being sent or not. I just have a quick question. On your website, you sell DDLC wedding keychains, and I was wondering, since they're out of stock on there, if they would eventually be restocked. I'm most interested in the Yuri one." I didn't respond because again, it was the same Sunday, which I believe I got the second email, and again, I try to take Sundays off. And this is also 9:40 at night, so I'm in bed. I get another response, or excuse me, another message saying hello on Monday. I didn't respond. Hi, I've been trying to message you for a few days now. I'm just curious if you restock your items. At this point, looking back, I can say that, I probably should have handled this a little bit better, but, I'm also trying to, learn how to learn as I go, I guess you could say. So I respond with, "Hi, I'm a one person with two storefronts and a lot of messages, especially since I had a release this weekend. Please don't spam me like this. It's really disrespectful. At this moment, I have no idea when she'll be back in stock. I'm sorry." Which was the truth. I didn't know when she would be back in stock, and it's like, I guess I was a little irritated because it's like I had gotten 5 messages from this person, and it's just like it. So anyway, I get this message in my inbox called "How dare you?" And like in Etsy, you can actually make like a little title card, and like as almost like the header of an email. And this was the contents of the message. "I am the mother of the underage child you are talking down to on Etsy Messenger. I'll have you know that I own 3 businesses. All 3 of them are on Etsy, as well as storefronts, and we have a website. I am busy AF, as well as a mother of 4 and a wife. My husband and I are both real artists, and I always have time to answer people, even if I'm irritated, and I never use my words to abuse them as you have done. You may think you did nothing wrong because you're a self-centered narcissist who thinks he is better than everyone else, but I can assure you, you're anything but better. You have caused my underage daughter to have a panic attack as she burst into tears by your disgusting, insensitive, dim-witted, selfish, reckless response. And I won't let you be a tyrant now, or I won't let you be a tyrant and get away scotch-free with it. You want to catch aggro? You got it now. Because I'm not afraid to take anyone down that messes with my child. You're disrespectful of others, and you're mean, nasty, and arrogant when you have no right to be. You clearly can't handle running a business professionally," which for sure, like I can maybe agree with that. "Don't blame her for your faults. It's your fault that happened, not hers." Like, I don't know what they meant by what fault, whose fault, like, I don't know whose fault. "You're the irresponsible one, you're ungrateful, disrespectful, and you're a bully. By the way, I find it interesting you call yourself a real artist. Which I've never called myself a real artist. You shouldn't even be making any sales, as your art isn't even your own true creation. It's fan art, and you're riding the coattails of true artists. GTFO." Which, she has a valid point in some sense of the word, that like, yeah, I do a lot of fan art and stuff like that, and I generally do series that the companies are okay with doing fan art, and they promote, fan art, like, Hatsune Miku Vocaloid, Genshin Impact, Girls Frontline, a lot of gacha games. They actually are very supportive of fan artists, and they say it's totally fine. Like, Doki Doki Literature Club, for example, the creator, Dan Zavato, says that he's totally fine with it. So I do a lot of series like that, so, I mean, she has a valid point that I'm riding the coattails of true artists, but A, I never said I was a true artist, and B, it's like, at the end of the day, I'm still the one drawing all this stuff. But in this point, she contacted me from like a personal account, but when I went to go click on that personal account, it showed her store name. And I think for any business person, you shouldn't really become really irrational, especially on your main business account. So I referred to her as her store name because I kind of wanted to say, hey, I can see that, you're a store owner. This is not a really good look. But that's what I have censored right here. I said, "Hello," I'm just going to call her Red from now on. "I'm sorry you're upset. Do you mind explaining to me what part of my response was abusive?" She says, "Well, first you ignored her because you couldn't be bothered. Then you messaged her with a snide remark once you found the time to. You unloaded your irrational on her. Your irritation, sorry. You unloaded your irritation on her and you called her a name. It was rude. You don't need to go around acting like that. It will get you nowhere fast. She is a young girl and she admired your fan art." In parentheses. "She saved all her babysitting money and was excited to spend it on your shop. And to have you selfishly and rudely reply that way, it was ugly and abusive. Whether you see it or not is your problem. And now I'm dealing with a child that has had her day ruined by a selfish individual who doesn't think before they speak. Frankly, you didn't need to write something like that. It didn't do anything better to better the situation. You just wanted to be rude and take your irritation out on her. It was pointless and you had caused more of a headache in the end. You could have simply just answered the question and keep the annoyance to yourself. That comes with the territory of being a shop owner, sometimes which you clearly couldn't handle when it came to my daughter today. She won't be pestering you anymore. Don't worry. So, clearly this person's very upset. I think a very exaggerative, and especially considering I didn't even respond with a huge email or a huge response. So I go, "Hello, Red. I'm sorry to hear that. Can you show me clearly what name I called her, as well as what part of my response was irrational? I'm very upset to see a fellow shop owner threaten another store owner with aggro, as you put it, as well as threaten to take me down for my polite response explaining that I am a single person and not a big corporation that can handle so many messages." She says, "You actually think I care about you being upset?" Which I find ironic, considering she mentioned that her daughter's upset, and so I'm supposed to care about her daughter being upset, but she can't care about me being upset. But anyway, now you're making this about your feelings? Like I said, you're a narcissist and you're full of excuses. You fail to recognize what you did and it was not okay. Aggro is this, lady. It's you getting these messages from me. Aggro means aggravated. You gave aggravation, which is, I guess, subjective. Now you're getting it back from me. Give aggro, get aggro. That's how this works. Your response was not polite. Get over yourself. It's your response. If your response had been, then you wouldn't be getting slack right now, would you? It's as simple as that. You did do something that was inappropriate and uncalled for. You did not need to lash out at her like you did, or at all for that matter. And this is why we are here right now going back and forth because of a bad choice you made. If you are disrespectful of others, they will give it back to you. You can't go around running your mouth and expect it not to catch up with you. I am a mother and I will not allow you to hurt my child just because you only think of your own feelings in your own life. Again, going back to the fact that I'm supposed to care about her feelings though. She has feelings. See, like, she just says right there, she has a feelings. And I'm supposed to, like, respect that, but I can't be respected. But anyway, she has feelings, a mind, and a life too, and she couldn't process how hateful of a response you gave. Regardless if you think you did anything wrong or not, you did in fact at the end of the day cause my daughter to cry and have a panic attack. So stop being so selfish and arrogant. So I responded with, "You didn't answer my question as to what name I called her, as well as show clearly what part of my response was irrational. I know to make all of my responses professional, as my words are a direct reflection of my store, and I wouldn't want anyone to think my store was calling people's names." Smile. "Now, can you show me where I called your daughter a name like you initially stated, as well as show me what part of my response was irrational, not logical, or not reasonable?" Okay, so this is something I actually realized that I don't know how I misinterpreted this, but I think at the time I thought she said I'd called her daughter a name, but I don't think she ever said that. So I want to clarify that I did misunderstand what she was saying here, but I'll continue the conversation. She said, "Read your message yourself. You have a brain. I don't need to spell it out for you." I didn't respond. And then she goes with, "I have let you know how your actions affected my daughter and now me. This is something as a shop owner you should be aware of. If you don't like the feedback, then maybe change the way you do things. It's not right to go around being arrogant and unapologetic for the way you cause others to feel and hurt. Your actions cause this, not mine, yours." I said, "No, but I actually do. Please let me know what name I called your daughter." And then I, addressed her store name again, which again, I misinterpreted. She never said that I called her daughter a name, which I'm surprised she actually didn't point that out and say, like, I never said you called my daughter a name. But we'll continue. She says, "LOL, are you having fun, Kaozia?" Smile. "You seem to be having so much fun. Or you seem to be having so much fun. You are just eating this up, laughing so hard, aren't you?" I mean, I'm laughing now, but like at the time I wasn't laughing. "You're just so proud of yourself, aren't you?" I didn't respond. She says, "Look at you with all the time in the world right now," which I didn't respond, but who has all the time in the world? What a crock of garbage." I said, "Because we both know I use not a single name against your daughter." Oh, you and I both have access to the conversation. "It's interesting to see how many times you'll avoid the question when directly asked because we both know I didn't call anyone names." Which again, like, I was confused. I'm so sorry. "It's not that I'm avoiding it. I just don't appreciate being mind controlled and toyed with. You're trying to get me to do something I don't need to do because you're the ones that wrote it. Had you been professional, I wouldn't be calling you out." Taking this all into consideration, not only did I make a pretty big error and say that she said I called her daughter a name, which she didn't say. I think that's something you should, maybe point out. But now I'm mind controlling her. I don't know if this is like one of those targeted individuals or something like that, but I responded with, "I can assure you, Red, there is no mind control involved here. I did no such thing. call your daughter a name, and you have yet to prove that I did so, even with your frequent claims that I did. She responds, so you don't think that's what you said was rude at all? You could care less that you snapped at her over something so ridiculous? You know, if you don't like messages, you can turn off notifications, right? You don't need to snap at people and call them disrespectful. That was calling her a name, which maybe she did say I called someone a name. I don't even know at this point. I mean, either way she answered. You don't need to snap at people or call them disrespectful. That was calling her a name. Okay, maybe I'm just confused. A name that she is not. It was disrespectful of you to lash out that way. Whether it was one small sentence or a big paragraph, it doesn't matter. You were rude as AF, and you know it. You're passive aggressive, and it's annoying. Why so high and mighty when it's not even your original artwork? Which technically it is my original artwork. It's not my original IP or source of intellectual property, but it is my original artwork of the day. I said, hi, here's a message I sent. And then I actually, quoted it, and I sent a screenshot for reference. She goes, by the way, I see nowhere where I frequently said you called her a name like you keep claiming I did, which now we're on the same page at least. Yeah, so I didn't call her, she didn't call me a name, but she admitted to saying, it's just confusing at this point. I mainly said you were rude and that your message was insensitive and a reckless way to respond and that it caused her to feel awful and ruin her day. You were not polite. You were passive aggressive and you pulled the old nasty nice trick. I asked about what abusing words I had called her, so maybe it wasn't name calling. She said I had used abusing words, so I got that mixed up. As stated in your initial message, and you said it was name calling that was abusive, then I asked you what name calling I had done. Refer to the following screenshots. And then this is where she says, I have time to answer people, and even if I'm irritated, I never use my words to abuse them as you have done. You may think you did. So she said that, essentially, I was using abusive words. She goes on to say, regardless if you directly said you're disrespectful or you're passive-aggressively calling her disrespectful, it still causes the same feelings at the end. It is abusive to treat someone like that. Your actions had a direct negative impact. You, as a shop owner, should now, I'm assuming now know that you don't need to say things like that. It doesn't really help any situation. You are simply doing it to make yourself feel less agitated by passively aggressive talking down to someone else that gets on your nerves. It was inappropriate and uncalled for. You clearly don't agree with me. I'm assuming agree. But I don't need you to agree. I just need you to know that you caused this problem today and how it made my 17-year-old daughter and made me feel as a result of seeing her so upset. She didn't deserve it. Your response was insensitive. That is just you. Maybe you're autistic and that this is going over your head. I don't know. If you are, then maybe that is the problem. Why is being autistic a problem? Maybe that's a problem. I have an autistic friend and they don't understand cause and effect of certain ways of speaking to others. It's not her fault and perhaps you just didn't understand. I should try to recognize that and have compassion for you. If that's the case, then I can understand why you aren't understanding this. But at this point, I feel you are just being self-centered and stubborn and don't care about other people in this world besides yourself. So if that's the case, then good riddance. But if it's the latter, then perhaps we can agree to disagree. I don't know. I'm just being a loving mother, and I see my daughter who has truly liked your fan art, wanting to buy some for a bit, and now she feels like she got slapped in the face by it. It's just uncalled for, and I want to stick up for her. That's my family, and you messed with it. Whether intentional or not, I'm letting you know your actions had a direct impact on our lives today. It may be small to you, but for her it wasn't. I apologize for all my typos. I'm holding a baby in one arm and trying to breastfeed while she's napping and dealing with this ridiculous drama. I'm done with it. I let you know our feelings. And my point of view is that. I don't want to waste my day on it anymore. Goodbye, Kaozia. So, after she decided to do the whole, maybe you're autistic, and kind of like paint that in the way that that's like an offensive, that's like a negative thing, and that's a problem. I decided not to continue, this conversation at all because those type of people can't really be reasoned with. But yeah, that was probably my worst customer experience I ever had, which I don't even know if I can call them a customer considering they didn't even purchase anything from me. But I thought that was pretty entertaining, and I hope you guys did too. If I can say something going into the future, just, small businesses, they're a lot different than bigger corporations and stuff. Again, it's just generally one person, running all of this stuff. So maybe show a little bit of compassion, but this certainly wasn't the way to handle it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I plan on making more content just anything in general. So if you guys have any suggestions for different types of videos you guys would like to see, I'd be more than happy to create those videos and stuff like that. So anyway, thank you for listening and thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.